So we have men are staying single, men have given up on dating, and men are done with dating. Let's go another round.
I want you guys to think about something because this just kind of hit me this morning and I want to share it with you guys and see what you think. Right. So when I always talk about how women cheat more than men do, men just get caught. Let's think about this from a standpoint of throughout human history, how we're wired. So we can't say men are the only ones who are wired to cheat.
Right.
Women are too. If you look even in biblical times, early on, this and that, men had many wives, women had one husband. And if you had an affair on your husband, it was punishable by
death,
off with your head. But women still did it. The consequence was you
Stoning.
Are off this planet. You are done. That was the consequence, and they still did it. So let's fast forward to 2024. What are the consequences?
Now, Jesus corrected that, but her point still stands.
If a woman has an affair on her husband, no longer is it, the death penalty. Mm-hmm. It's literally you just might go to counseling.
You're celebrated for it.
Or I guess, worst case scenario, you get half of his stuff. So the reward system has definitely changed. I don't think the evolutionary need or what people are doing has changed much. I think, tigers are going to act like tigers. Monkeys are going to act like monkeys. Humans are going to act like humans. It is better to be faithful in your marriage. That's not what I'm saying, which is better. I'm just saying how we are engineered, how our bodies are, how our minds work, and how it's always been throughout history. So the women's reward system has gotten better if they do have an affair. Mm-hmm. It's no longer punishable at that extreme. But now look at how it is with men. Men used to have many, many wives, many women. That was not a problem. Now, if a man has an affair, he loses half his shit. And he gets half the time he would normally with his kids. So the punishment has definitely changed. There used to be no punishment whatsoever back in the day. Now for men, it's like I said, the word reward and risk just doesn't make sense for men anymore.
I agree with that. I think nobody should be doing it. That's first off. But why would you reward one person and not reward or punish the other? I think is what it needs to be. If we're really talking about equality, hey man, why are we getting punished for something that the men are doing? Okay, well the men can't do it anymore. Okay, well since the men got to do it for so long, let us do it and we get rewarded for it. No, that's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, if the men are not supposed to be doing it, they stop doing it, but you don't do it either.
Makes a lot of sense for women though.
I'd be scared to meet new women. Y'all be so behind on bills.
Dang.
What I want women to understand about men is that men don't unfollow or block. That is an emotional response. I don't care what they try to say. That is an emotional response. A man that truly, truly does not care about you would not even be thinking about you enough to need to block you or unfollow you.
Unless you're bothering
So that
him.
means that if he does block you or unfollow you, you must have said something that really hurt his feelings or bothered him. Mm-hmm. Your presence and the thought of you is really bothering him so much to the point where he had to open up the app and type your username in his keyboard, click your profile, and press the 3 dots to block you or unfollow you. That's how much you get on his nerves. You are a menace, and to be honest, I applaud you for that. But yeah, my whole point is that...
Are you applauding that?
A man blocking you or unfollowing you is an emotional response. They're gonna, the men in the comments, they're gonna fight with me. Oh no, she's lying. Don't listen to her. She's crazy. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, it is an emotional response. It is. That means you got to him. That means you got to him. He cares. Even if it's only a slight bit, he cares. You bothered him. Whatever you said or did, you bothered him.
But before I say what I'm going to say, what's the reward? What's the point in bothering somebody? You wouldn't want that for yourself. You wouldn't want that if you had daughters. You wouldn't want that for them. That would be, I think sometimes it could be an emotional response, but sometimes it could be a logical response. It's a man enforcing a boundary. If he says, hey, I don't think we're good for each other. I think we should just go our separate ways. And that's it. And he starts doing his thing on a separate basis. And you continue to push something on him that he does not like. And he says, hey, man, like, you got to chill out. And it's a natural progression of things to where he says, quit doing it, or I got to do this. I got to block you. Or he might not even say it. That's not emotional. That's logical. Hey, I asked her to stop doing that, but she kept doing it. Now I got to show her that I'm serious about her not doing that. And that's how you get blocked. And you stay blocked. And I'm going to block your number. Yeah, I might still have you on social media or Facebook or something like that. But if you can't act right on social media, then I'll get on social media and I'll block you there too. Because you act like you don't have any sense. And then you're going to say something weird on something that I post, and my family's going to be like, who is this? And I might even have a wife one day, and they're going to be like, who is she? I don't like that. That's somebody I dealt with in the past. Trying to be cordial, trying to be nice, but sometimes modern women don't understand boundaries. It's the same thing in a lot of ways as a digital restraining order. I've got to take matters into my own hands because you act like you don't know how to use your brain and exercise discipline and leave people alone.
Wait, what did you say? I didn't hear you. Aww. I'm Eliza. Home. I gotta go over there. Do you live in Chicago? Where do you reach me? Why?
To take you out.
Take me out. Why?
So I can get to know you.
And that's not enough. Why do you want to take me out?
I just said.
What's your name again? What? Henry. Henry. Nice to meet you, Henry. I'm not like really dating right now. I'm like, I know. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
And that's really what he should have done. And there were a lot of women in the comments. Oh man, he pulled off. He only wanted one thing. Yes, he wanted to take her out and get to know her. And she didn't want to do that. And so he pulled off, which is actually what he should have done in that situation.
I have been divorced for almost 3 years, and every time somebody asks me if I am dating, like, I want to laugh in their face. Because what do you mean dating? Dating in today's world? Have you been here? Do you know what's going on? No? Okay, let me fill you in. Playing games, I can go play Monopoly. I know you care, and then you're gonna act like you don't care. Because why? I don't know. Make it make sense. This is a joke. This is actually a joke. I don't like it here. I don't want to be here, and I don't want to keep participating in these games. I'm ready to tap out.
So there's this fine, tall, tatted, beautiful drink of water that comes into my job. And my coworkers were like, I'm gonna put you on. So they did, and they got his number for me. And we were texting, and he asked me for my Instagram, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to do that.
Uh-oh.
One, because like I don't want guys to see like my follower account and like want to use me. And then also because like I don't want them to see my TikTok and see my story times and be like, oh wow, like this gonna make a story time about me, and like she's a red flag. But that's exactly what happened. And as soon as he got my Instagram, he did not respond to me.
Boom.
And honestly, I think I'm at the point where I'm literally just gonna
Gotta present yourself better. That's what men be saying. Y'all be wanting that from men. Come on now.
Somebody found me on a dating app. And they told my family member is like, hey, so-and-so says you're on a dating app. And he's like, I don't know why Jasmine's on a dating app. She can find someone. How? How if I don't leave my fucking house, bro? The only time I leave my house is if I go on vacation. So tell me where I'm going to find my future husband. Where?
You're not.
Where am I going to find them? And I don't really think it's going to be on these dating apps either. Because these dating apps are literally just to boop, boop. Like, that's all they want to do on these dating apps. And you think I have time to be wasting? No. I'm a businesswoman. I got my shit together. I'm not trying to sit here and waste my time. But I don't have no choice but to be on these. Because if I don't go on like that, how else? How else am I going to meet people? By going out? I don't even got nobody to go out with. That's the truth. So it's like, if you see me on those apps, shut the and don't best believe I'm not on Tinder though. I'm not on Tinder. But recently I deleted all the apps because I'm like, you know what, God take the wheel, because I'm at the point in my life that I'm just hazard lights go around. hazard lights, turn around, go around. I'm at the point in my life that I'm just like, I'm over it. Like, God, do what you gotta do. Just send me my future man. Hopefully TikTok for you.
He not gonna do anything. He's not coming. God not gonna send you no man. Faith without works is dead. He not gonna send you no man if you sit up in the house. That's all right. All right.
For you, Paige. You know what I'm saying?
I just saw a video saying that attractive people are more isolated and lonely. And I just want to say, that makes so much more sense now.
Right.
The reason I'm single and have no friends is just because people are so intimidated to talk because I'm so attractive.
Okay, another group photo. It's a good-looking group of ladies. I wonder which one
she is.
Which one you are. Of course you're that one.
Dang.
I personally feel like when we speak about modern women and we talk about how the feminist movement has ruined our thinking and we have these masculine traits, we also then need to speak about the modern man and how the same way that we were affected by certain movements, the black man was affected by certain movements as well, as far as the way you guys think about being leaders, as far as the way you guys deal with like mass incarceration, as far as the way you guys view your black women. How are we supposed to have patience for the black man in that sense to not view y'all as the traditional man that we were used to? But then when we're asking for the same patience to unlearn the things that we're left with, it's like, nah, why would we do that? If it's a woman out there who's docile, everybody has been affected in different ways. So the same way that the black man wants the patience from the black woman to not only view you as providers, to not only view you as protectors, to view you as human beings, to deal with you emotionally, it's like, where is that grace for us to then say, she's been through a little bit of life, let me care for her, let me nurture her and bring back out those sides of her?
I think that men naturally do that because our standards are low. So even though we're speaking about like men, like if we're truly speaking about some things, I think that there's always someone for somebody. There's someone for single moms. There's someone for women that's been through a whole lot of trauma and, you know, even drug things like that.
You just said that guys would smash us and not wife us, though.
Listen, what I'm saying.
Because their standards are so low.
So low.
Listen, there's someone for someone.
They're having a problem listening, basically. This is why men don't have patience with you. Like you're answering your own question because you don't listen to the man.
Body. I think that women, what they do is their standards are too high. So that means that you should be dating. Maybe you got babies and all of this, and you should be dating someone that's on your level. But your hypergamous nature makes you seek someone that's above your level. And I'm telling you that these masculine men aren't looking down. They're only looking down to smash and a dash.
So why do you believe that someone who has child is a down?
If the man doesn't have any kids, it's a burden.
There's a lot of men out there that aren't going to want a woman on first glance with a kid. There are some men that do, but that's what he's saying. If a man is making a lot of money and he doesn't have any kids, there's going to be a lot of women throwing themselves at the man. So he doesn't necessarily have to look at, and maybe he will, maybe he won't, but he doesn't necessarily have to look at somebody who has a kid because maybe he doesn't want to take care of somebody's kid, or maybe he wants to jump in a relationship with his wife. We have some fun, then we have kids, versus, hey, you have a kid, we're in a relationship, we're already starting off with a kid, versus getting to know each other, then have a kid. They don't have to do that because there's plenty of women coming up to them that don't have kids and are ready to make a family of their own, whether it be through their own intimate time or through adoption or whatever it is. So instead of going for those types of men, which there are a lot of women, including women without kids, going for that type of man, why don't you find a nice, honest man who will deal with you? He doesn't have all the money in the world. He doesn't have all of the best cars and the best house. Maybe he's not 6 feet. Maybe he doesn't have a six pack, right? But he will deal with you. He will love you. He will love the kids. But you guys don't want that. There's no patience to be had with that. I think that's what he's saying. There's no way that you can strive or be patient with somebody that talks down on you for being average, for being broke, and then turn around and say, man, this man is better than you because he makes more money. But the man doesn't want you. I want you. Why? I'm doing everything that I can to give you the time of day. You said you wanted flowers. I gave you flowers. You said you wanted somebody to come pick you up. I did that. You said you wanted to go to a nice restaurant. It was a little stretch on my finances, but I made it work and I did that. I got my connections together. I said, hey, bro, can you give me a little discount on the, hey, bro, I got you. I did all of that for you and you still don't appreciate it. But then you turn to a man that didn't even want you. And then now when you're 35, 40 years old, you looking for men like me who was taking care of you when I was in my early 30s, my late 20s. That's what he's saying.
Jordan.
Tell me why I matched with this guy on Hinge today. And he messaged me and said, where are you going to take me?
Drizzle.
I already am like teeter-tottering back and forth of even if I even want to date. Like the thought of asking somebody what their favorite color is and what they like to do for fun really just, no, I don't want to do it. I'm very much the person that agrees to go on dates and then cancels because it's cloudy outside. I don't know.
Don't you think that
I'm trying to change my mindset though and be like, it could be fun.
Don't you think that you're getting the same energy back that you're giving out? Because if you're going to cancel for that little reason, then maybe that's what you deserve.
You're 30, you want to have a family and, you know, get married. But I want to like skip the get to know you part and just, you know, be there. I have already accepted my fate of if I'm not married or have kids by the time that I am 40, I'm going to quit my job and just travel and be like a yoga instructor or something and like go to Bali and Greece and really cool places. But
and don't know yoga.
The goal is to have a family and kids. So I was like, I should probably put myself back out there. I'm deleting that. I'm not that hard to please. Like, take me to Waffle House. Take me to Waffle House. If you can get me to go to Waffle House with you and not bail, you have my attention and I am satisfied. But I don't need a fancy date. I don't need, you know, an expensive dinner. I appreciate them. I'm very appreciative. I don't need that though. Like, I'm pretty simple. Asking me where I'm going to take him.
That sounds great, but you don't go. Maybe he's a trash person, but what about all the other dudes that were like, I want to take you on a date? And you just said you're the type of person that cancel a date because it's cloudy outside, just because you don't feel like it. So how are you going to have a family and kid? Like, how are you going to have all that? How are you going to meet somebody if you just cancel for the most fickle reasons?
This person says, and never take advice from loose women with 100+ body counts. First of all, I know sure as heck you ain't talking about me. But aside from that, anyone who says anything about somebody has 100+ body count, let people have fun. Let people do what they do. Who cares? Don't be a hater if you can only get 1+ body count, which it's neither right or wrong either way. If you want to devote yourself to one person from start, by all means, do it. It's your life. If you want to be with a different person often, again, it's your life and it's none of our business. So even if I had a body count of 100+, this wouldn't be an insult. And matter of fact, you should then take advice from someone that would have 100+ body count, because it would sound like they would have experience, and experience leads to knowing a thing or two. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do this.
Also, from this loose comment, you wouldn't know you're from a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, I get where you tied, you know, that you got to fight back, right? You got to say something back, you know, because you can't let them get away with that. But at the same time, it's just irresponsible. It's just downright irresponsible. And if they did have somebody too many bodies over 100+, come on, man, don't do this. You don't need to do this. Just anyway. All right, man.
I get money from men very fast after dating them.
Right.
Very fast. As soon as we go on a date, I get money from them.
Right.
All the time. It never fails. Even if they're purchasing my gas, whether they are giving me money for hair and nails, but as soon as we go on a date, a light switch like this in my head, get their money. All the time. Whether they're purchasing mobile homes for me, because right now I'm at the mobile home park, which I got 4 mobile homes in. And I fix them up and I put tenants inside. Do you understand?
Yes,
Let me show you. This is one of the investments. I don't want to cut the camera off. But anyway, let me just show you guys. This is one of the investment properties that one guy purchased for me. I'm going to turn the camera. Hold on. I guess I got to just stop it to turn the camera. So this property he purchased for me, and right now we're in the process of fixing it up. Well, with his money, and I'm going to either flip it or put some tenants in it. And this is why I'm saying,
there's a deed in his
at the end of
name.
the day, let me turn the camera around. At the end of the day, whether he stays or he leaves, he invested something. He invested in me, and I can continue on with life and not feel bitter, not feel salty, not want to stalk him, not want to belittle him. I can move on gracefully because he left me a mobile home, and I can still generate income, passive income. We're putting a tenant inside, I can generate income. And this is why you do need to talk to men that do invest in you, that do give you money, so that you don't be salty and bitter when it doesn't work out. Because these men, when they not interested in you no more, that's it. Like, you can't beat them up. You can't belittle them and go crazy. No, you move on gracefully, but you cannot move on gracefully if he did not do nothing for you. You're gonna leave bitter. Always get money from men. Amen.
Don't you think that's a harmful thing to say in relationships? Because if the same thing were to apply in reverse, then that would be darn near a crime. This is why when you look at statistics, this is exactly what women get in trouble for the most. That's like fraud, embezzlement, which is forms of deception. That's what they're good at doing, manipulating and deceiving people. This type of nonsense, this type of foolery, they can't just cut ties with somebody and say, okay, I lost something, you lost something, let's just go our separate ways. The man has to lose not just his time, but he's got to lose his money. Not to mention he's paying for things during the time that you guys are together, but it leaves you with a parting gift.
Women say that they want a man of God, but I don't really think they do. I don't. All the men that they be tripping about, all the men on social media that they be trying to be with, them be in church? No. The most that they want from your ass is to be like, God, please don't let me kiss my day. That's about it. That's about it. Women like men that be on demon time. I'm telling you, I promise you. You riding around, you got weed, you drinking, you in the club every weekend, you gonna have hella women. I promise you. Go ahead and tell women that you're a man of God and that you're a virgin, that you're waiting till marriage to have sex. Watch how fast they discard your ass. I promise you. Go up to women and tell them, hey baby, look, I'm a man of God, but I only make $30,000 a year. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Now go up to women and tell them, hey look, I'm a drug dealer, but I pay for everything, girl. What's up? Trust me, brother. Trust me.
So a lot of women are coming to new understandings about men and how we relate with them. And I see a certain kind of content on social media where it's like decenter men, that's one end. Mm-hmm. And then the other end is there are people who have no idea what other women are learning. I'm in the middle, unfortunately. I know some things. And when I'm not considering a relationship with a man, I know that stuff very well. I say, nope, not doing this, not doing that. I would never. I know. But then when you meet somebody you like and those feelings start bubbling to the top and percolating a little bit, it's challenging to stay tethered. I grew up on Disney, rom-com, stories, fables, all that juicy love stuff, right? And now I'm 44 and I'm learning about the concept of mourning an idea. We mourn the loss of physical things.
44? Really good skin.
People, pets, maybe a relationship. But I know that I'm gonna have to mourn the idea that, and I know this is gonna sound so simple that some of you might think I'm not dreaming or thinking big enough. I'm not sure that there is an honest man I can share my life with. Sure, he can be attractive. Sure, he can be a leader. Sure, he can be an entrepreneur. Sure, he can be self-sufficient. All of the things that women want. But is he an honest man? I have dated men from different walks of life, different professions, different countries, different everything. I have yet to meet a man who sees a woman in such a way that he understands it is important to be honest with her, because when he is honest with her, he gives her the ability to choose if she wants to leave or stay. All I've ever experienced is they tell you a story so you can stay in their orbit and their reality and they can get what they want from you, and they don't care about the time they're stealing from you, right? It's strange. I'm in this middle space where I'm living in two different worlds, and part of me feels like I need to choose and I need to decide because it's going to bring me some clarity. But I also believe that being in this middle space, there's an opportunity to bridge this gap because I know that I'm not the only woman navigating.
Baby, you got a lot more problems than men. This is what happens, especially to some of our, you know what, I won't go there. This is what happens to some of the women out there who live in modern society, who get caught up in the wrong things. And now everything has to be deep. Everything has to be complex. Everything has to be philosophical. And I'm in between the space of the divide and the abyss, and I'm just elegantly and gracefully floating through the wind of careless romanticism and responsible romance, whatever they say. But this is it. He's 44. Skin is fantastic. Fantastic. But somewhere along the way, you know what? I just hope at some point in time, you make it a little bit simpler than it actually is. Instead of looking for just attractiveness like you ask men to do, you really connect with the man, and you do that by having conversations. You do that by asking the right questions. You are not absolved of responsibility in relationships. Your brain doesn't just cut off because you get a good and competent man. The man's going to need help. He's going to need a lot of help, and he's going to trust your decision. He's going to trust your suggestions and your recommendations. If you've done the work, if you've thought about your life and how your life integrates with his, how your life in general integrates with everybody, it integrates with the world, how you treat people, how you treat your friends and your family. Your man's going to be looking at all that. You don't have to get this deep. Just think about what questions you need to ask. Think about the responses that you receive and why they would say that. And if you have more questions, and you need to have more questions, you need to be as curious about the man as he is, or you want him to be about you. My God.
In a space.
Zach Bryan breaking up with his girlfriend via Instagram post is a perfect example of when you are in intimate relationships with men, you either choose harm or humiliation. And in this case, it was both.
Jesus.
And unfortunately, this isn't the first time that he has behaved this way. I can only imagine the pit in her stomach she had when she woke up to see that post. This is my reminder that you need to...
Talking about the post, I think apparently, I don't know this guy, but apparently he's a country singer, and they broke up before, but then he announced it on social media about the breakup, and that blindsided her. He didn't tell her that he was going to post on social media about them being officially broken up.
Be prepared for men to humiliate you, because oftentimes they do without remorse. I would go as far as saying that I think that women should be a little bit more ruthless when they are in relationships with men, because men prove us to be right every single time. They are not to be trusted. They are always guilty. And I think that women should be behaving accordingly. It reminds me of the gal that moved across the country and then back to Texas and then is still going on and saying that she thinks that he's a good guy. No, darling, you are a good person because you wanted to be loved and you wanted to love him. We wrap up our emotions into these men and project their potential onto them when that is never real. They tell us exactly who they are every single time, and we need to start believing them and proceeding and behaving accordingly.
So why, if you wrap that, wouldn't that be a you problem? Even if we ascribe to them, they sold you this fantasy, wouldn't that be something that you did? Oh, I thought he would do this. I thought he would do that. But you can clearly see, as what you're saying, this is the way that this man is. But I'm projecting what I want this man to be. And isn't that a specific and common problem for a lot of women out there? So then why is it the man's fault that you don't know how to step back and say, I really want you to be this, but it's just not working out? You see a lot of NBA teams, a lot of NFL teams, they grade based on performance. Hey man, you're not giving us the performance, but then sometimes they'll stay loyal. It's like, hey man, you've been rocking with us for a long, long time. But if the person isn't what they need them to be, then they don't draft them. And sometimes that person turns out to be a really, really good person for another team. But for our team, it does not seem like, based on the research that we did, he's not going to be a good person for us. And maybe we fumbled, like say for instance on Michael Jordan, fumble. We know that, but he was good for the Bulls. Maybe he wouldn't have been good for us. Who knows? He might have tanked out, bottomed out. We don't know. And that's how modern women need to think. That's how anybody needs to think. I'm evaluating you. And if it doesn't seem like there's these questions that I can get answered even before I go on the date, then you can have a conversation about that. I want to be honest with you. There were some things that I wanted to talk to you about. It didn't seem like we had a chance to get around to them. And with that in mind, I would like to get those things answered, and I didn't in the time frame that I wanted. So I think maybe, you might be for somebody else, and maybe we should go our separate or own directions. You can say that, but you behaving rather immaturely in this, getting in a relationship or being around a dude that you don't see yourself with, just to be rude and disrespectful and mean and try to get your revenge, that's immature.
Women are more likely to be aggressive and physically towards men in relationships. There was a study done a couple years ago that found that women have a stronger desire than men to be controlling in a relationship. The women in this study openly admitted to first being emotionally followed up by physically, and that women needed to significantly be in more control than men, which ultimately perpetuated more aggression from both sexes. Meaning that because she's being aggressive and using aggressive force, he ultimately reacted. And out of 50% of those men in this study, they ended up with some kind of police record or in jail, or the consequences were much higher for the men in these kind of relationships than they were for the women, even though the women initiated the aggression in the first place. This study went on to say that heterosexual couples experience aggressive behavior towards one another by 43%, but that same-sex relationships had more aggression and more than heterosexual couples. And that the aggression in same-sex relationships came more from women than they did men. And this study was done a couple of years ago, and I know that there's heavily more information on women being more aggressive towards men, but it stems from women being controlling. Okay, bye.
Some of y'all are really setting yourself up for failure by going after these alpha male IG aesthetic guys. If some guy is planning his Instagram feed, do you really think he's going to be spending time planning your life,
your family, you know, goals around like your guys' future. Yeah, I don't think so. All my girlfriends who
If you can do it, why can't he?
are in successful relationships right now, they've always dated guys who are non-American. And that means someone who was probably not born in America, you know, is not very like adherent to American culture. Maybe he's Indian, Middle East, Asian, Chinese, you know what I mean? Because men from those cultures naturally have provider energy. So they're not going to want to go 50-50 with you. They're not going to want to go Dutch. They're going to buy you nice cars, nice things. And that's honestly what I've seen with a lot of girlies in my own friend group. And yes, they might come across as boring and a little shy at first, but you kind of want that if you're the girl that likes to be in the spotlight. You want someone who's kind of behind the scenes and a little more introverted. Because if both of y'all are extroverted, you guys are going to butt heads and won't last.
This is unfortunately how a lot of modern women are. And you could just see that she's just talking. There's not really a lot that's coming out that makes any sense. You're just talking. And that's it. No critical thought. Just saying whatever comes to mind, saying whatever she thinks. And she'll probably get some people in her comments saying, oh yeah, man, that's what I think. And it'll all be stupid. And they'll wonder why in 5-10 years time, they're still single. They can't find one of those nice non-American men that are introverts that allow them to have the spotlight. Where are they? Why can't I find them? Why don't they want me? Maybe because they, as introverts, would be studying you and saying, she wants the spotlight. And I'm okay with that, but maybe she wants it a little bit too much. Maybe she's only looking at me for the nice houses and the nice cars and clothes that I can buy her. And he wouldn't be assuming because that's what you just said, isn't it? You talked yourself out of a relationship and wonder why you can't get one. Stupid. But that's just my opinion. Until the next video, I'm out.